The Galactic Peace Summit was supposed to be a new beginning for humanity. For decades, humans had struggled to earn a place among the stars. They had fought wars, survived betrayals, and endured countless hardships. But when the Zephyrin Empire, one of the most powerful alien civilizations, extended a hand in friendship, humanity saw hope. An alliance was formed. Trade agreements were signed. Scientific exchanges began. Zephyrins shared advanced energy technology, and humans offered their expertise in AI and cybernetics. For the first time in history, it seemed like humanity had a true ally. But it was all a lie. The hidden betrayal. Deep beneath Earth's capital, in a classified Terran Dominion intelligence facility, a group of analysts stared at their screens in shock. A transmission, intercepted from a Zephyrin military channel, revealed the horrifying truth. The alliance was a deception. The Zephyrins never wanted peace. They had no intention of coexisting with humanity. The transmission detailed a secret invasion plan, codenamed Operation Extinction. In just 3 days, the Zephyrin fleet would launch a full-scale attack on Earth and its colonies. Billions of humans would die before they even realized what was happening. The Zephyrins were not allies. They were predators, and humanity was just another prey species to be eliminated. The Council's mistake. Terran High Command was called into an emergency meeting. Admiral Leon Kane, the Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, slammed his fist on the table. This alliance was a trap from the beginning, he growled. We let them into our systems, into our colonies. We handed them everything. President Elias Carter, the leader of the Terran Dominion, shook his head in disbelief. This can't be true, he muttered. We've worked with them for years. They gave us technology, resources. Why would they do this? A grim silence filled the room. Then, Director Celine Vaughn, head of Terran Intelligence, spoke. Because they think we're weak, she said. They see us as an infection in their galaxy. And now, they're going to wipe us out. The last hope for survival. There was no time to argue or negotiate. If the Zephyrins attacked first, Earth's defenses would be overwhelmed. Humanity would not survive. Admiral Kane stood, his expression hardened. We strike first, he said. The room fell silent again. Admiral, President Carter hesitated. If we do that, we risk war. Kane's eyes burned with fury. We're already at war. They just haven't fired the first shot yet. The decision. Humanity had 2 choices. Wait for the Zephyrins to attack and be slaughtered. Launch a preemptive strike and turn the tables. The Galactic Council, the ruling body of interstellar law, would call it an act of aggression if humanity struck first. But Kane knew the truth. The Galactic Council wouldn't help Earth. They had done nothing when the Zephyrins exterminated weaker species. They wouldn't lift a finger when Earth burned. There was only one way forward. Kane turned to the president. We hit them first. Hard. Before they even know what's happening. A long pause. Then President Carter nodded. Do it. Preparing for war. Earth's war machine roared to life. Stealth fleets were mobilized. Eye warships were activated. Cyber warfare teams began hacking into Zephyrin military networks. For years, humanity had trusted the Zephyrins. Now, they would make them regret it. A message to the Zephyrins. Before the operation began, Admiral Kane sent one final message to the Zephyrin High Command. It contained just 3 words. We know everything. The betrayal had failed. The real war was about to begin. A silent attack. Outpost Omega was one of humanity's most advanced space stations. It orbited Vega IV, a colony world with millions of civilians. The station was a symbol of progress and unity, built with Zephyrin technology, a result of their so-called alliance. But that alliance was a lie. At 300 Galactic Standard Time, Outpost Omega's long-range sensors detected an anomaly. A fleet was approaching at high speed. Comms officer Lieutenant Harris tried hailing them. This is Outpost Omega to unidentified vessels. You are entering Terran-controlled space. Identify yourselves immediately. No response. Harris frowned. That's strange. Zyphorans always respond. Then the first energy bolt hit. The Zyphoran betrayal begins. Without warning, plasma cannons lit up the darkness of space. Outpost Omega's shields shattered instantly. Zyphoran weapons had already been calibrated to exploit human shield frequencies. The Zyphorans knew every weakness in Earth's defenses. The second volley ripped through the station's core, sending burning debris raining down onto Vega IV's surface. Commander Ethan Reeves, the station's leader, barely had time to react. He activated the emergency distress signal. All stations, this is Commander Reeves. Outpost Omega is under attack. I repeat, the Zyphorans have. A massive explosion cut him off. The Zyphorans had jammed all communications. No one outside the system knew what was happening. And then they turned their weapons toward Vega IV. The butchering of Vega IV. Planetary defenses were offline. The Zyphorans had hacked them remotely before the attack even began. Vega IV's cities were defenseless. Zyphoran dreadnoughts descended from orbit, unleashing fire and death. Plasma bombs turned skyscrapers into molten ruins. Civilian transports trying to escape were shot down without mercy. Zyphoran ground forces landed and began slaughtering entire districts. In less than an hour, millions were dead. Zyphoran warriors broadcasted a single message across every remaining human comm channel. Humanity is weak. Submit or be erased. Earth's response. Back on Earth, the distress signal from Outpost Omega never arrived. But then, a Terran patrol ship in a nearby system detected something terrifying. Outpost Omega, destroyed. Vega IV, burning. Zyphoran fleet, still in orbit. The message reached Admiral Kane within minutes. When he saw the footage of Vega IV's destruction, his hands clenched into fists. They had trusted the Zyphorans. They had welcomed them. And now, millions were dead because of that mistake. A cold fury settled in his eyes. This is not war, he said. This is extermination. President Carter, standing beside him, spoke 4 words that changed history forever. Then let's return the favor. No more diplomacy, only vengeance. Humanity had been given a choice. Beg for mercy, or take revenge. The Terran Dominion chose vengeance. Within hours, Earth's entire military was mobilized. The first target, the Zyphoran fleet at Vega IV. This time, humanity would not be the victims. This time, they would be the monsters in the dark. And the Zyphorans had no idea what was coming. The decision for war. The massacre at Vega IV had changed everything. Millions were dead. Outpost Omega was nothing but floating debris in space. The Zyphorans had not just attacked humanity. They had tried to wipe them out. Admiral Leon Kane stood before the Terran War Council on Earth. The room was filled with high-ranking generals, scientists, and political leaders. There was no debate. Humanity had been betrayed. And now, they would strike back. Kane's voice was like steel. Sephora made one mistake, he said. They didn't finish the job. A cold silence fell over the room. Then President Elias Carter nodded. Make them regret it. The plan. Operation Firestorm. Humanity couldn't afford a full-scale war. Not yet. The Zyphorans were more powerful, more advanced, and had a larger fleet. But they had one weakness: arrogance. They believed humanity was already defeated. So, the Terran Dominion devised a brutal counterattack. Operation Firestorm. The plan was simple. A surprise strike on the Zyphoran fleet still orbiting Vega IV. Electronic warfare to disable their communications. A full-scale bombardment on their main military supply station. If it worked, the Zyphorans would be crippled before the real war even started. The battle begins. The Terran Armada launched from hidden bases across the Sol system. 200 warships, led by the dreadnought TDS Vengeance. experimental eye-driven railgun cruisers designed for precision strikes, stealth frigates equipped with next-gen electronic warfare systems. They arrived at Vega Ivy's orbit under the cover of darkness. The Xiphoran fleet was still there, scavenging the ruins of Outpost Omega. They were relaxed, unprepared. Admiral Kane's lips curled into a cold smile. "They thought we would beg for mercy," he muttered. "They were wrong." Then he gave the order. Fire. The wrath of humanity. The first railgun volley struck like a god's fury. Xiphoran ships shattered as hypersonic rounds tore through their hulls. Massive explosions erupted in space. The Xipharans scrambled to respond, but before they could react, Earth's cyber warfare teams attacked. Their comms went dark. Their targeting systems shut down. Their shields flickered and failed. Then the Terran fleet moved in for the kill. Destroyers weaved through enemy lines, firing devastating precision shots. Fighter squadrons ripped through Xiphoran bombers, turning them into burning wreckage. Stealth frigates infiltrated enemy formations, launching boarding parties to seize key Xiphoran ships. The fall of the Xiphoran fleet. The battle lasted less than an hour. By the time it was over 90% of the Xiphoran fleet was destroyed. Survivors tried to escape, but humanity hunted them down. The Xiphoran supply station exploded in a massive fireball, cutting off their war machine. The entire system was silent. For the first time in history, the Xipharans had been crushed in battle. A message to the galaxy. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the TDS Vengeance, staring at the burning wreckage outside. He activated the comms. To every Xiphoran command station, to the entire Galactic Council, he sent a simple message. "We are not weak. We are not prey. You wanted war. Now you have it." Then he turned to his officers. This was just the beginning. The real war had begun, and humanity would not stop until Zephora burned. No more mercy. The destruction of the Xiphoran fleet at Vega ID shocked the galaxy. For centuries, the Xipharans had believed themselves invincible. They had conquered worlds, crushed civilizations, and wiped out species without consequence. But now, for the first time in their history, they had lost. And humanity was just getting started. Retaliation plans begin. On Earth, inside the Terran High Command War Room, Admiral Leon Kane stood before a holographic display of the galaxy. The map flickered, showing key Xiphoran military strongholds, supply routes, and homeworld defenses. Kane's voice was cold. "We have two options," he said. "Wait for the Xipharans to strike back. Take the fight straight to them." The room was silent for a moment. Then President Elias Carter spoke. His words sent a chill down the spines of everyone present. No more waiting. No more diplomacy. Burn them down. The strategy. Hit hard. Hit fast. Humanity couldn't afford a long war. Zephora's empire was still far larger, far stronger. But they had one weakness. They relied on a fragile network of supply lines and command hubs. If humanity struck those first, they could cripple Zephora before they could launch a full counterattack. The plan was simple. Cut off their fuel and weapon supplies. Destroy their forward command bases. Force the war onto their home turf. Phase 1. The Shadow War begins. While the main Terran fleet prepared for a large-scale invasion, Earth's Black Ops teams went to work. Elite human operatives, trained in stealth, hacking, and sabotage, were deployed deep into Xiphoran space. Assassination teams infiltrated Xiphoran war councils. Their leaders began mysteriously disappearing. Cyber warfare units attacked their mainframe networks, shutting down crucial defense systems. Saboteurs disguised as Xiphoran workers rigged key weapon factories to explode. In just 2 weeks, entire Xiphoran war preparations collapsed. Phase 2. The invasion of Carthos V. Carthos V was a Xiphoran industrial hub, responsible for producing warships and heavy weapons. It was humanity's first true test, a direct planetary assault. The Terran fleet arrived undetected, their stealth ships flipping past enemy defenses. Then, at exactly 200 galactic time, the skies over Carthos 5 turned red. Massive railgun barrages rained down on Zephyrin factories, turning steel and concrete into molten fire. Orbital drop pods crashed into the city streets, releasing thousands of elite Terran shock troopers. Zephyrin defenders fought back, but they weren't ready. Human exosuits crushed Zephyrin infantry like insects. AI-assisted drones rained plasma fire from above. Tactical nukes erased entire military installations. Within 6 hours, Carthos 5 fell. And the message was clear. Humanity was here to destroy. The galaxy watches in fear. The Galactic Council, which had once ignored humanity, now watched in terror. The Zephyrins had started this war, but humanity was proving to be far deadlier than anyone had imagined. Other alien species, once neutral, now feared they might be next. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were becoming something else. Something terrifying. No surrender. No escape. Deep inside Zephyrin space, Supreme Commander Valrax, leader of the Zephyrin military, watched the reports of Carthos 5. His claws trembled. "This isn't possible," he whispered. "Humans shouldn't be this strong." A junior officer approached him, voice shaking. "Sir, we intercepted another human message." Valrax took the datapad and read the single sentence. "You wanted war. Now you will drown in it." His blood ran cold. The war wasn't ending. It was only beginning. The fear spreads. The fall of Carthos 5 sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The Zephyrins had never lost a war before. They had crushed countless civilizations, believing themselves to be superior, invincible. But now, the unthinkable had happened. A species they had betrayed was winning. And worse, humanity wasn't stopping. The War Council of Zephora. Deep inside the Zephyrin homeworld, Supreme Commander Valrax gathered his top generals in a secret war chamber. The massive holographic display showed the reality of their situation. 12 Zephyrin worlds attacked. 8 major supply routes destroyed. 2 entire fleets wiped out. A once mighty empire was bleeding. One general, his voice shaking, said, "How did this happen?" They were supposed to be weak. Valrax slammed his fist against the table. They were, but they adapted. The humans had learned from every battle. They had evolved their tactics, turning their rage into strategy. And worst of all, they had no fear. The Ghost Fleet strikes. While Zephora struggled to regroup, humanity launched its next nightmare attack. They called it the Ghost Fleet. Stealth warships capable of slipping past enemy radars. AI-driven hunter drones that could disable entire fleets in seconds. Experimental EMP missiles designed to shut down Zephyrin technology mid-battle. The first target, the Zephyrin colony of Tyros 9. The attack came without warning. One moment, the colony was thriving. The next, its orbital defenses shut down. Its power grids went dark. Its military command was hacked, frozen in place. Then, the bombardment began. Not a single Zephyrin ship survived. No reinforcements could arrive. When the humans finally left, they left one message behind, burned into the surface of the planet. Vengeance has no mercy. Zephyrin morale collapses. For the first time in history, Zephyrin soldiers refused to fight. Entire battalions surrendered without firing a shot. Others abandoned their posts, terrified of the next human attack. Because they knew, when the humans came, there would be no mercy. A desperate plan. Supreme Commander Valrax refused to surrender. If the Zephyrins couldn't beat humanity with superior numbers or weapons, they had only one option left: destroy Earth. If they wiped out humanity's homeworld, perhaps the war could still be won. And so, he gathered the largest Zephyrin fleet ever assembled. 10,000 warships, 10 million soldiers, one single mission: annihilate humanity at the source. The final battle was coming. But Veilarax didn't realize one thing. Humanity already knew, and they were waiting. The Zephyrin invasion begins. The largest fleet in Zephyrin history moved toward Earth. 10,000 warships, 10 million soldiers, a single mission: wipe out humanity. Supreme Commander Veilarax stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Doombringer, staring at the blue planet in the distance. "This ends today," he growled. But humanity was ready. The Zephyrins had assumed Earth would be defenseless. They were wrong. For months, humanity had anticipated this attack. They had prepared for it, planned for it, turned Earth into a fortress. As the Zephyrin fleet entered the Sol system, they received a final message from Earth's High Command. "Welcome to Hell." Then, the ambush began. The trap is sprung. Zephyrin warships detected no resistance at first. The space around Earth seemed empty. Then, suddenly, stealth mines hidden in asteroid fields detonated, tearing apart the first wave of Zephyrin ships. Eye-controlled defense satellites activated, unleashing plasma beams and railgun fire. The Ghost Fleet emerged from the darkness, slicing through Zephyrin formations like a blade through flesh. The Zephyrin fleet descended into chaos. "What is happening?" Veilarax shouted. The answer came from Admiral Leon Kane, broadcasting to every Zephyrin ship. "You thought we'd be weak. You thought we'd be afraid. You were wrong." Then, Earth's main fleet arrived. The Terran counterattack. From behind the moon, Earth's hidden armada emerged. Super dreadnoughts armed with prototype mass drivers. Swarm drones equipped with self-replicating nanite warheads. Experimental energy weapons designed to overload Zephyrin shields. The battle turned into a bloodbath. Zephyrin capital ships exploded like fireworks. Terran strike teams boarded enemy vessels, slaughtering entire crews. Zephyrin soldiers tried to fight back, but humanity fought harder. Veilarax watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart. "This is impossible," he whispered. But it wasn't. Humanity had evolved. They had turned into something the galaxy had never seen before. And now, they were unstoppable. Earth strikes back. With the Zephyrin fleet in ruins, humanity pushed forward. Terran warships broke through enemy lines. Drop pods rained from orbit, delivering cybernetic super soldiers into the heart of the Zephyrin command ships. EMP pulses disabled Zephyrin reactors, turning massive warships into floating coffins. Veilarax refused to surrender. "This isn't over," he roared. Then, he tried to flee. But Admiral Kane had been waiting for that. The TDS Vengeance locked onto the Zephyrin flagship and fired a single devastating hypervelocity railgun round. Veilarax never saw it coming. His ship exploded in a blinding fireball, and with it, the last hope of the Zephyrin Empire. Victory and the next step. The battle was over. Earth had won. The Zephyrins were broken, scattered, leaderless. But humanity wasn't done. Admiral Kane turned to his officers. His eyes were cold. "They wanted extinction," he said. "Now we bring it to them." And so, with Earth secure, humanity prepared for its final move. They weren't just going to survive. They were going to end the Zephyrin Empire forever. The final war had begun. The war is almost over. The battle for Earth had been a disaster for the Zephyrins. Their greatest fleet was annihilated. Their supreme commander was dead. Their empire was crumbling. But humanity wasn't satisfied with victory. They weren't going to let the Zephyrins retreat, rebuild, and return. They were going to finish this war forever. The final invasion begins. The Terran War Council had one goal. Zephora must fall. No negotiations. No peace treaties. No mercy. Admiral Leon Kane led the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. 15,000 warships armed with the deadliest weapons ever created. Planet cracker missiles capable of reducing entire worlds to ash. Bioweapon payloads designed to infect and erase all Zephyrin life. Zephora's last stand. The Zephyrin homeworld was once a symbol of power. Now it was a fortress under siege. As humanity's fleet entered the system, the Zephyrins made their final stand. Thousands of defense platforms opened fire. Colossal dreadnoughts unleashed everything they had. Desperate ground forces prepared for planetary invasion. But it wasn't enough. The first wave of human bombers broke their orbital defenses. The second wave disabled their planetary shields. The third wave landed on the surface, and hell followed. The streets run red. Terran soldiers stormed the Zephyrin capital, unstoppable, relentless, merciless. Cybernetic shock troops crushed enemy resistance. AI-controlled drones hunted survivors in the streets. Tactical nukes reduced strongholds to rubble. Zephyrin generals tried to flee. They were hunted down. Civilians begged for mercy. Humanity remembered Vega IV. There was no mercy. The Emperor's last words. Inside the Zephyrin royal palace, Emperor Xylarus EX, the ruler of the once mighty empire, stood in front of his throne, shaking. The doors burst open. Admiral Kane entered, his rifle raised, his eyes cold. The Emperor fell to his knees. Please, have mercy. Kane didn't hesitate. One shot, one dead emperor. It was over. The end of the Zephyrin Empire. Zephora's worlds were conquered or destroyed. Their military was shattered beyond repair. Their species was left on the edge of extinction. The galaxy watched in silence. For centuries, the Zephyrins had ruled through fear. Now humanity was the one to be feared. The future belongs to Earth. As the last battle ended, Admiral Kane stood on the ruins of the Zephyrin capital and sent a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity forgives nothing. Humanity forgets nothing. Then he looked up at the stars, because this was just the beginning. Humanity had won. But now, the galaxy belonged to them.